Hello everybody and welcome to my Java video tutorial series on YouTube. My name is Jackson Bement and I'm here to introduce you to the programming language of Java. Well, hello everyone, welcome back. This is episode 4 of my Java programming tutorial series, and today we're going to learn about a variety of things, but specifically different data types. So we've learned about strings, which store sentences, and now we're going to learn about things like integers, doubles, booleans, and chars, or characters. Alright, so let's jump right in. So we're going to open up the same program we've been working on, my first program. I changed a little bit of stuff around. So just to recover what we went over last time, we learned that this is declaring a variable or an identifier. This is instantiating it, and this is declaring and instantiating it within the same line. Now, down here, I have both of these things printed out, so you can print first name and then add a plus and then print last name as well, and it won't like add the letters together or add in the traditional sense of math, but it'll essentially put them together so that when you run the program it'll print them out side by side. Now notice how there's no space here. That's because up here in our text of my name there is no space. So if I were to put a space here after the N, compile it, rerun it, alright, and now there's a space between. Cool? Alright, so moving on into data types. Alright, here are our main values that we're going to be using. Byte, short, int, long, and double. I want you to keep in mind that the main ones we're going to be using are int, so integers, and double. Now these are the ones we'll pretty much be using in all situations. It's just kind of the basics to the code. All the other things are important because they all allow you to store smaller numbers, which save space in computers, save space in computer programs. Can optimize how well things work, and can minimize, like if you need a number that's less than 127 for instance, you can use a byte to make sure that it can't go over or something. Alright, so we're going to move on. The next part I want to show you is, instead of just doing what I've been doing here and typing in the numbers and telling you the values up front, you can go in, you can type the capital version, so byte dot, and then you can do max underscore value. Alright, and now this, when you compile it, it works, and you go in and you run your program, and now it'll print out the maximum value that you can do for that type. Alright, so there is max value for a byte, the max value for a short, the max value for an integer, the max value for a long. Now notice how I typed integer out here, the full version of it. There's a float, which I didn't mention but also exists. It's just a smaller, less accurate double essentially. And then double. You can compile this, you can run the program, enter, and you can see all the things you can do with this. Alright, so up here we have 127, 32,767, 21 point something billion, or 2.1 something billion, a larger number, and then with the float we have a certain decimal number, so we have 3.4 blah 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 times 10 to the 38th, which is a large number, and then with the double we have an even larger one with more decimal places, making it more accurate essentially. So those are our number values. Moving on, I'm going to teach you guys about booleans next. So a boolean is a true or false statement. So I'm going to do TF, or true false. Alright, so boolean TF is equal to true, or boolean FT is equal to false, for instance. Alright, so these are the only values you can type in here. When you print out a boolean, it will only print true or false. So if we type in here TF, compile our forgot to capitalize it, my bad. Compile it, run our program, it prints out true here at the bottom. See that? Alright. Booleans are just very necessary and helpful in a lot of situations that we'll learn more about in the future. Alright, and lastly, I'm going to teach you guys about characters, or a char. Now a char can be any character essentially. It can be a letter like that, And notice how we're using single quotes and not double quotes because it's a character, not a string. If we use double quotes, it's for a string. So yeah, you can put any value essentially in these double quotes, and it'll come out all right. Values can be numbers, they can be letters, they can be they can be symbols, they can be pretty much anything you want them to be. And so yes, but you need to make sure you have those single quotes there, because if you don't, it'll give you an error. All right, so we compile this, has no problems. Go to run it. Oh, we haven't printed it yet, which is a problem. So we're going to highlight that, copy and paste it, scroll down here, copy paste. We're going to take over this information. We're going to type in our variables, which are character, char1, and char2. Compile this, we run our program, and it prints out a $sign and a 3, which all of our character values are up here. Alright, so now that we've learned about all these character values or these data types, I want you guys to practice with different things, similar to how we did the max values. I want you to see what kind of things you can mix and match. Like up here I mixed in first name and last name. Can you do that with numbers? Can you do that with booleans? Can you do that with characters? You know, what all can you do with this program? I want you guys to mess with it. I want you to experiment. I want you to learn more, and of course continue with the CodeCademy lessons so that you get extra practice in as well. One last thing I forgot to mention, all the characters within Java correspond to a ASCII code system. So for instance, if I make a third character here, so char3, and I set it equal to, let's say, 65, so it's a number and there's no single quotes, right? I'm sorry, I meant to type 65. Alright, and we go down here and I print out char3 instead of char2, we compile it, there's no errors, and when we run it, it prints out a capital A. Alright, so notice this, notice that Java has, again, an ASCII code where numbers apply to certain characters. So if we go through here, we can do, you know, char4, and we can type in, let's try 121. All right, and we go down here and we print out char4 instead of 1, compile it, no errors, get that out of the way, we run the program, and now we have a lowercase y printing. Alright, so I want you guys to experiment with this as well. What numbers correspond to what things, just kind of get a feel for it yourself. If you want to look up ASCII code online, you can learn a lot more about it. I'll try to include a resource within the video description, or a link in the description, so you guys can learn more about that if you choose to. So yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another video, and I have prepared yet another quiz for you. Today's questions are: what are the 4 main data types? These are including whole numbers, decimals, true, false, and single space with 2 single quotes. And what is 78 in ASCII code? Or what does the number 78 represent in ASCII code? As always, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.